What's up, everybody? Eyecee here, and welcome to another NBA video. This one is for November 19th, 4-game slate. And before we get right into it, a quick recap into my night last night. Hopefully, you all had a good night. Me personally, it was a profitable night for me. My cash games did really well. The early one, I got a little bit lucky. I had Miles Turner in my utility, but when the Kawhi news broke out, I hard swapped from Miles Turner to Montrezl Harrell. The GPPs on the main slate did really well. I was profitable on those. I had a lot of Luka, Dinwiddie, House, OG, Westbrook, but I also had a lot of Whiteside, Prince, Joe Harris, Miles Turner. So these guys all let me down, Lillard. But cash games were good, and I still profited in the main slate GPP. But the late night GPPs were not that great. I was profitable. I cashed in my cash game, so that was good. But my GPPs on the late night slate were terrible. I had Devin Booker, Gallinari, Oubre, Dinwiddie. I had all the guys that did terrible. So I didn't cash in anything. I cashed in one. So and that was the only one I had Townsend. So go figure. I didn't have Townsend like any of these. Only one. So that sucked. But we cashed in our cash games, which is what we go for. And if you guys have been following me, you know I spend 80% of my bankroll every single night, or whatever that I am playing. I spend 80% of it in cash games, 20% in GPPs. I recommend everybody play 50-50s and single entry GPPs. That's where you're going to be more profitable throughout the season. You won't get rich quick, but you will get rich eventually if you have a good process, if you're patient, and if you do it properly. If you get greedy and you put a big chunk of your bankroll on one slate and you get one or two guys wrong, someone gets injured, foul trouble, goodbye to your bankroll, right? That's why you have to play a certain amount of your bankroll. I recommend 15 to 20% of your bankroll every single night. And of that 15 to 20%, you should be spending like 70 to 80% in cash games and 20 to 30% in GPPs. I personally do 80 cash, 20 GPP. But you can do whatever suits you, whatever makes you feel happy. But I'm telling you, you should really pick the right contest. You have a 45% chance to make a profit in 50-50s. You have roughly a 25 to 30% chance of making a profit in single entry GPPs if you play every single night. And you have around a 22% chance of hitting the cash line in GPPs. But most people don't play GPPs to hit the cash line. You play GPPs to hit first place. And so you make lineups like that. So you're going up against 50,000 people versus going up against 2,000 people with one lineup, where the 50,000 people have 150 lineups and you have one or two or three or four or a few, but you're going up against 150. Unless you're max entering, you're not in the same level field. You know, you're at a disadvantage to start with. You're already at a low chance to win because you're in a big tournament. It doesn't work out. Make sure you pick the right tournaments. I recommend 50-50s, double ups, and single entries. Those are the ones I like. 3 entry max are okay too. Those are good too, but those are the ones you should be entering. Those give you the best chances of winning. But with that said, you guys aren't here for all of that. You guys are here for today's take, and we do have a 4-game slate here. Some really good games here in my opinion, and I have a full set of notes here which you may or may not be able to read. If you want access to my spreadsheet, it's free. Everything I do here is free. All you have to do is, I need an email address. You can DM me on Twitter at Eyecee DFS with that email address. I'll share you the link with that address. I just have to put it in here, and then you get the access to it. I have a lot of people here, that are using the spreadsheet. They're happy, they're good, and honestly, I put a lot of notes here. Up until yesterday, I was putting notes closer to lock. If you guys saw my notes here about Doncic, you knew I was barely playing any. Harden and Giannis. I was just going with Doncic over those guys. I also like Julius Randle a lot. I loved Harrell with no Kawhi in the lineup. So if you guys were there, you could read them. I have notes here, but again, I do this every single day. It's all free, and if you want access, it's free. I don't mind. I just ask that if you do have access to it, that you help support the channel, help me grow, because everything I do here is free, and I'm trying to do this full time. So the sooner I can grow, the sooner I can do that for you guys. But yeah, I've talked for 4 minutes now, so hopefully I didn't bore anybody to death. But yeah, let's get into today's slate. Portland versus New Orleans. This will be a really good game to target right off the bat. First game of the slate. It's an 8 p.m. start, a little bit later. But let's just start with the Portland side. So I was extremely let down by Portland's performance yesterday versus the Rockets. I really expected them to come out there swinging. They know the Rockets really well. They know Harden. They know Westbrook. They know what they're about. They know what to expect. Yeah, the Portland Trailblazers are a little bit undermanned. There is no Nurkic, there is no Collins. It does change the dynamic of the team, but I still expected them to do better, starting with the head honcho, Damian Lillard. So he had a terrible shooting night yesterday, but this is a bounce back spot here against the Pelicans, who are depleted, who play at a really fast pace, who have one of the worst defenses here. And Lillard's price is still reasonable on this slate, where I don't mind getting to him. His minutes and usage are still fantastic, and if his shot was falling yesterday, he would have been in a fantastic spot to smash. Aside from Lillard, the other guy I'm really looking at here is Hassan Whiteside. I think Hassan Whiteside should be relatively safe at 6,300. He also had a relatively off night. He played limited minutes. He played around 27 minutes when he was playing 30 in the past ones. He's averaging 28 minutes on the season, so that yesterday's performance was right around the ballpark. But Hassan Whiteside is a player that has 2 fantasy points per minute upside when he is playing. He could go and drop 30 DraftKings points in a quarter. He has tremendous rebounding ability, but he got out-rebounded like crazy yesterday by Capella. Capella 2020 this season just killing it with the rebounds. But Whiteside, he's in a bounce-back spot here. I don't really know what Jackson Hayes or Melly can do to out-rebound Whiteside aside from just try a lot harder. Whiteside's just naturally gifted at that. So I like Whiteside. Probably he's my favorite Trailblazer, but I'd still give the nod to Lillard just based on the ceiling. But Whiteside in here could be in a fantastic spot. Lillard still is going to see a little bit of Jrue Holiday and JJ Redick, even though Redick's not that great of a defender and all that, but he still sticks to you like glue and makes it tough on you. And, Whiteside just has a much safer opportunity. He's closer to the rim, easier basket, more rebounding opportunities, second chance opportunities. So I like Whiteside a little bit more just because it's the Pelicans, and I don't think they have anybody to properly, match up against Whiteside. So there's that. But then CJ McCollum's the other guy I'm going to talk about. And I hate his price, 7,800. I was like on the edge playing him when he was 6,300, and now he's 7,800. Like I'm not comfortable playing CJ McCollum at 7,800. You have to consider him because it's a 4-game slate, and there's only very limited top tier options that you have here. But again, it's 7,800 for CJ McCollum, who people were scared to play at 6,300. So $1,500 price increase. Yeah, it's a very good matchup against a very bad opponent. Yeah, CJ McCollum is very shooting dependent, so if his shot's falling, he could definitely get you 40, 50 DraftKings points, but it's rare. It's a hard spot for me to get to. I'm not 100% confident in him. I might as well just put him on the fence for now because that's pretty much where I'm at. I don't like him. I don't dislike him. The price is the reason why I dislike him. His usage and opportunity in this matchup is the reason why I like him. So you guys can make the executive decision for yourself. I'll be making more notes as we get closer to lock to see if any more value opens up and where I'm shaping up. But as it stands, I'm on the fence here. Now, the other 2 guys I want to talk about, Nasir Little and Anfernee Simons. Both of these guys are only in play if Melo does not play. As it stands, Carmelo Anthony is expected to make his debut. So that will directly affect how much minutes Nasir Little is going to be seeing, how much run Anfernee Simons and usage he's going to be seeing. Anfernee Simons' usage has been great in the limited amount of minutes he's been playing. Nasir Little's minutes have been fantastic, but his usage hasn't been. But his price is also reasonable, where you could have seen him being a fantastic play today. But with Carmelo Anthony playing and Bazemore, Hezonja, and Hood, who I have in blue here, I'm not really going to talk about them. You guys can read the notes. Again, if you want access, I need an email. Eyecee DFS, DM me. I'll give you access. But Nasir Little played 29, 32, 30, 23 minutes in his last 3 games. He had decent production with decent upside. But with Melo back and these other guys in the mix here too, he's probably the odd man out. And honestly, I could see both Anfernee Simons and him taking a little bit reduced roles for the time being until they figure out if Melo works or doesn't on this team. With that said, keep a big eye on what Melo is doing and not. As it stands, he's expected to play. He's going to make his debut. So I don't really like Nasir Little and Anfernee Simons. I'll put them in blue as well because we're on the fence. But again, he could still play a good run, get good minutes. If he's going to be starting then that's a good indication that he's still going to see a good amount of minutes. He can still do well in those limited minutes in this matchup against the Pelicans. It could also be a blowout. These guys are on a back-to-back. They played yesterday. They lost. They didn't have a good game. They're going to be ready to go. So they're going to come out swinging, and the Pelicans are depleted. They're going to have to be ready to take that swing, and if they're not, then it's over. So based on that, I know I'm on the fence here with a lot of the Portland guys, but Whiteside and Lillard are the two guys that I don't really mind playing no matter what. They're in my player pool for sure. I like them. I'm confident about them. I love the matchup. I love the price. I love the pace. I love the usage. I love everything about these two guys. So nothing about these guys affects these two guys for me. McCollum's price is really the main reason I'm not talking about him or excited about him, but he does have upside. So there's that. On the Pelican side, they still have a lot of injuries. It's like a hospital here. We don't know. I feel like a doctor, figuring out what injury everybody has and if they're going to play or not. Look, the only way I can really do this truly is if I just rank them based on who plays and who doesn't play. So I'll put Jrue Holiday in a tier of his own because he's the main point guard, ball handler. He's going to be good no matter what. It's just if other guys play, it's the price that gets to me at 8,800. The usage will be down. The minutes are down. And Jrue Holiday is a beta. He doesn't like taking so many shots. He's more than happy to pass up the ball to someone else. So that could very well happen here. He did take 28 shots or 23 shots the last game, but he took 14 the game before that when he was the only option. So he's not a guy that just goes out there and just commands the game and takes it over. He'll go out there and still be a good team player and help everybody integrate them into the offense, make everybody around him better. He's going to try to do that. He's an old school point guard. He's not a typical point guard, but he's a good ball handler and he tries to do that. He's a good teammate. But he's a beta. He's not going to go out there and kill the game. And if 8,800, if Ingram's playing, if Hart's or Lonzo's playing, that's a lot of usage gone for Jrue Holiday. Can he still do it? Sure. It's a good matchup, good opportunity for him to do it. Portland's giving it up to point guards all year long. So Jrue Holiday can definitely get it done. So I don't mind him. It just depends on who's playing, of course. If Ingram's playing, I like Holiday less. If Lonzo's and Ingram are playing, I like Holiday even less. And I'll just pay up for Lillard at that point. But he's definitely someone to look at, consider, especially if these injuries hold. Definitely someone I'll be getting to. Aside from him, J.J. Redick with Josh Hart confirmed out. I don't mind J.J. at all. 5,100 is a fair price for him. It is a 4-game slate, so you have to consider him. He could get really, really hot with this shot and just destroy the slate. He has real upside, but it's really shooting dependent. So it's a risk, but it's a matchup where there'll be a lot of 3-point shots. It'll be quick transition, quick shots in the corner. JJ Redick's going to be ready, waiting, so I don't mind. And then the other guy I'm really considering here is Jackson Hayes. Derek Favors is already confirmed out. It gives a bump to Okafor and Hayes, but if Okafor is also out, and he was out last game, then Hayes and Melly would really get a giant bump for me. Between the two, Melly and Hayes, I like Hayes a little bit more. I like his production and his upside more, even though his price is a little bit higher than Melly's. I think we can expect a safer performance from Hayes than Melly. Melly's really come back from the dead in the last few games. He was really on the borderline of getting cut from the team, in my opinion. But with these injuries, it's given him more opportunity to showcase his talent. Again, he's 29 years old. He's a rookie in the league, but he's a 29-year-old guy. He's mature. He's had his head on. He's played in Europe for the last couple of years. Had a good FIBA tournament. And he's a very productive player. This could be a fantastic spot for Melly to go off against the Pelicans, which is why he's in consideration for me. But personally, I would play Hayes over Melly for 500 more. I would just go there. Hayes is like a fantasy beast. He's like a Whiteside. It's just a tough matchup against Whiteside, but he's someone that could produce in limited minutes. He's already showcased that a couple of times this season, and with the minutes bump with Okafor and Favors out, he should be in line for a good performance. Again, the price is risky. There are other guys, but it's just a good spot. The next game we have here is the Golden State Warriors versus the Memphis Grizzlies. And the Golden State Warriors here, of course, are without D'Angelo Russell and Damian Lee, as well as all the other guys that are injured. But with D'Angelo Russell being out, we all thought that Kai Bowman would be the starting point guard. And then Steve Kerr, did a WTF 180 on us and put Draymond Green in the point guard position. Luckily, I was in a wedding, or I would have just taken every single Kai Bowman out of my lineup in a panic move, and I would have just put in anybody else, like Alec Burks or someone that was playing that day. But luckily, I was in a wedding hall with no reception, so I totally missed that news, and I kept Kai Bowman in my lineup, who ended up hitting 10x that day. With all that said, Kai Bowman's price is now $4,700. He's very risky. The last time he was super chalk, he burned every single person that played him. He fouled out or got into significant foul trouble, and he's a risk, $4,700. This is not a really great game either. I mean, it is against a young Memphis team that, makes a lot of mistakes, plays at a decent pace. But they also try to play some defense. They still have that old school mindset, grit and grind. But I don't have like a favorable opinion of Kai Bowman today at 4,700. When he was 3K, he was a lock. At 4,700, I have to think about it. I could pay 100 more for Glenn Robinson, who doesn't really get into foul trouble. I could pay 300 more for Alex Burks, who's a more confident shooter, who's guaranteed to get the minutes he's going to be getting, who also doesn't get into foul trouble. I could play Eric Paschal, who's one of my favorite bums on this Golden State Warriors team. Going back to preseason, I've been saying over and over and over again, out of all the guys that have been filling in for Golden State, he's the one guy that's a keeper for sure. There's no debate in my mind. He's just someone that's going out there and playing well above his age. He's 23 years old, but he looks like he's a mature guy in his prime. With D'Lo out, his shot attempts went up. He's very productive on the court. He gets all the other peripherals, and his minutes per game and usage are fantastic in this spot with D'Lo out. And definitely someone I'll be going to, especially if Draymond's playing the point. It just gives Paschal more chance to be closer to the basket, the rim, for easy layups and points. And he's a big guy, so that really works well for him. So Eric Paschal is my favorite Warrior by far. I don't mind Eric Paschal a lot. But again, Kai Bowman, I am on the fence with. There's other guys I could just pay up for a little bit, Glenn Robinson, Alec Burks. But he's someone that's definitely going to see a good amount of ownership, and it depends. If he ends up starting, I'll consider him a lot more. But if Draymond's going to be starting, then I don't want to be chasing Kai Bowman and his 30 DraftKings point upside at 4,700. I'm sorry. I'm not going to do that. The other two guys here that I want to talk about are Willie Cauley-Stein, who's been seeing decent run, and he's been performing recently really, really well. He has a relatively safe floor. He hasn't had a real bad game in quite some time now. And the upside is also decent. Like, he could go out there and get you 40 DraftKings points for sure. Willie Cauley-Stein is in definite play for me against Memphis. They're going to need his size. They're going to need his agility. They're going to need his skill set to match with Valanciunas, Triple J, Brandon Clark. So he's definitely going to be getting a good amount of run here today. He's going to be in a good spot to perform as well because their defense is not all that great, and some of these guys does have foul trouble problems, so that could mean some backup guys getting extended minutes against these guys, so more production possibilities. But, I mean, Willie Cauley-Stein at 5K, I don't really mind him. He's one of the more safer plays in my book. Jordan Poole at 3,900, he's a risky GPP value play for me. And the only reason I say that is up until now, Jordan Poole has yet to shoot properly. So I had full notes for him. It was hidden. So I've been watching Jordan Poole quite closely, and I'm 100% confident in this kid's shooting ability. Okay, his last few games: 0-7, 1 for 8, 4 for 15, 5 for 11. He's a career 43% shooter and 37% shooter from range. In 14 games so far this season, he's hit those percentages twice. So he's due for a solid performance. I don't really see any flaws in this kid's games, aside from sometimes he takes a shot a little erratically, and he should be a little bit more patient, in my opinion. And it's not falling. Aside from that, look, Jordan Poole is getting peripherals. Jordan Poole is doing a lot of these little things that a lot of people don't realize. He's filling up the stat sheets. He's getting a little bit of everything, and definitely someone that should be in play for you guys as a GPP play. He could definitely go mess around and get it done. He's still averaging what he's averaging, getting you decent points when his shot's not falling. And it's a risky play for sure. Don't get me wrong. It's a very, very risky play, but it's a risky play that has tremendous upside if your shot falls. This is a great matchup for him. Memphis is not all that great against guards, and he should be seeing a good amount of shots. He's not scared to shoot the ball. He's still taking almost double-digit shot attempts every single game or close to it. And with D'Angelo Russell missing, that should just mean more shots, more usage. He was starting up until last game when Draymond got bumped to the point guard spot, but he's one of the first guys off the bench, and when Damian Lee out, his minutes are also secure. So some of them I'm looking at for sure. But again, he's one of the more riskier guys on Golden State for sure. He comes with his risk. He's very shooting dependent, even though he gets other stats. But if his shot starts to fall at 3,900, he could be one of the best value plays of the night. But definitely risky. Definitely risky. On the Memphis side, I'm just going to start with the guy I like the most, Dylan Brooks. He's also very shooting dependent, don't get me wrong, but this is a great price for Dylan Brooks, 4,500, who's taking a significant amount of shots with Grayson Allen out of the picture. He's also another guy that's not scared to take shots. Last game was a really bad game for him. He only took 5 shots, only played 18 minutes. It was a terrible game against Denver, but Denver's are really good against guards, and he was the main shooting threat they had, and they just shut him down. That's what Denver does. But as you can see from all the other games, 15 attempts, 13 attempts, 17 attempts. 2 more bad games here, but 16, 18, 12. He's been taking a lot of shots throughout the season. He is shooting dependent. He does get you some other stats. He could get some steals and all that. Maybe a block here and there. He'll get you like 2, 3, 4 rebounds and assists. But if his shot's falling and he's taking these many shots and he's hitting them, then he can definitely hit value at this price point. One of my favorite Memphis Grizzlies guys to play. He's going to be lower owned. Definitely helps me set myself apart from some of the other guys. But again, he's very shooting dependent, but the minutes are fantastic. The usage is great, and the price I love. And the matchup I love. Golden State is the worst defensive team in the league. They have some of the worst defensives you can imagine. And, you know, perimeter defense, I mean, they have their perimeter defense is not that great whatsoever. And Dylan Brooks should be in an easy matchup here where he can exploit. So I like him. Aside from that, Ja Morant would be the guy I'll be looking at. He's one of the most exciting players for me to watch in the NBA right now. He has a decent price here and a decent matchup. He is a rookie, so he is prone to having bad games from time to time. However, the last few games he's been decent. Last one was not all that well against Denver, but that's expected. Again, the last time he didn't do too well was against Orlando and San Antonio, and those were expected. Those are bad matchups for him, right? You probably would have expected him to do bad against Utah, but he's way faster than Mike Conley, and he gave Mike Conley a lot of trouble. So he's a very fast player. He's going to give the opposing guard defender a lot of trouble here. So whoever the hell is going to be guarding him, Draymond Green, Burks, Robinson, whoever is going to have a tough time guarding him. Poole's probably going to be guarding him, Ja Morant, at times. So it's gonna be a tough match for them, but Ja Morant can definitely get it done. He has 40 DraftKings points upside. Definitely, you won't be mad if he gets that. It's a fantastic spot for him, fantastic match. The only thing I have against Ja Morant is the soft minute cap he sees. He doesn't seem to play 30 minutes often. It's usually around 26, 25 minutes, which can be a little detrimental to him hitting his value. However, in this matchup at 6,700, I don't mind him whatsoever. He's someone that I could see myself playing a lot. And then Triple J walking foul. He's been good in the last few games, aside from one of them where he got fouled out against Utah. He has huge potential on a nightly basis, but the fouls are what people really, remember, and they get scared when they think about picking him. At 5,600, he has humongous upside at this price. The risk is there, but Golden State is a fantastic matchup. They're the worst defensive team in the league at the end of the day. And this is somewhere where Jaren Jackson should just go out there and ball. So he's someone I'm considering. Marco Guduric, the other guy, is a risky play, 3,200. He had 2 back-to-back terrible shooting nights. He's playing around 18 to 20 minutes. If his shot's falling, he could easily exceed this value. He could even get 30 DraftKings points if one of these guys gets into foul trouble or something, So definitely someone I'm considering. He is a risky play at the end of the day, but 3,200 is a great price for a guy playing this many minutes in this matchup who has a decent usage rate when he's on the court. So I don't mind Guduric, but I'm on the fence with Jonas Valanciunas. He still has yet to have that game where he just absolutely goes out there and just smashes at his price. But even at this price, he could still mess around and win a GPP. It's a great matchup for him against Golden State. Golden State has been terrible against centers. Jonas Valanciunas is one of the more fantasy-friendly centers when he's playing minutes, and if he's going to be getting minutes, I don't mind him whatsoever. He only played 22 minutes last game, but it was against Denver in a blowout. The game previous to that, he played 30 against Gobert and had a subpar performance against Gobert, but this is a really easy matchup for him, and he should be able to perform here. It's risky with the minutes, but the upside is there, and that's why he's in blue for me. He could mess around and win you a GPP. GPP play for sure. Next game we got here is the Phoenix Suns versus the Sacramento Kings. And honestly, I am not all that excited about all of the Suns guys here in general. I mean, Devin Booker has just been getting into too many foul troubles, combined with the fact that he's playing with Ricky Rubio, who's ball handling a lot, who's, taking away the assists that Devin Booker was getting last year, and just takes away some of his ability to hit value easily at this price point. But it's a 4-game slate, and Devin Booker has to be in consideration. Devin Booker has been getting into a lot of foul trouble, and Ricky Rubio didn't play yesterday. I thought it was a fantastic spot for Devin Booker to just go off, which is why I had him in almost every single late lineup yesterday. It didn't work out because Devin Booker got into foul trouble, and when you get into foul trouble, you're not playing minutes, but even if you do end up playing minutes, you're playing with a muzzle on. You're not as aggressive as you are usually, and you end up taking stupid shots versus shots that you usually take, but you can't because you're at a risk of getting an offensive foul or something. So that's what happens. And then Ricky Rubio's back this game. I mean, he should be fresh in this game, good to go. It's a decent matchup against the Kings. They're missing Fox, and they're going with some second string guys as backups. They're also playing at a decent pace now, so that helps Phoenix, who's been playing at a mediocre pace. Phoenix used to play at a fast pace, but with Ricky Rubio and Baines on the team, they've been playing middle of the pack pace. So I'm not all that excited, but of course this is the game where you always have to. It's a 4-game slate, so you have to consider the guys here. Devin Booker will get consideration for me for sure at 8,400. He's in a bounce back spot. He hasn't had one of those crazy games this season that he's known for. He's been having decent performances. Like every other game, he has a decent performance. So, I mean, if we're going by patterns here, then today he should have a really good game. So honestly, I don't mind Devin Booker in this matchup. He usually plays well against the Kings. He has a good relationship with Fox, Hield, and all those guys. So he should just go out there and ball, feel comfortable, just go out there and ball. Ricky Rubio should be good as well at 7K. He could easily hit his price as well. Tremendous assist rate on this team. Ball handling a lot, playing a lot of minutes, and he should be fresh because he got rested yesterday. Kelly Oubre, I didn't highlight him, but I mean, you guys can read the notes in detail, but Kelly Oubre has just been on and off, man, and he's mostly been off than on. He had a good start of the season, but ever since that, he's been off. And yesterday, with no flipping Rubio, I thought he'd be seeing a tremendous usage bump and he'd be in line to perform, but he just subpar. So, and even before that, he's been subpar for quite a while now. So he's a little bit risky here, but on a 4-game, so you have to consider him. Same thing with Saric. Saric's been more consistent in the last few games, but he's also prone for some flakiness. His price point is decent in my opinion. What's Saric's? 5,500. I mean, the price is at a point where I could consider other people that will probably be playing more minutes in a safer matchup. But honestly, at 5,500, you can't go wrong. It's not all that bad. He's still getting around 4.5x and 4-game slate. If his shot gets hot, he could easily smash price. He got 3 for 13 last game, still managed to get 30 DraftKings points. He's taking double-digit shot attempts almost every single game, which is good. He's taking 5 to 6 3-pointers every single game, which is good. So if they fall, he could easily smash his price. And this is a good matchup. They're going to need the 3-point shooting from these guys here on both sides of the court. So Saric's one of the better 3-point shooters on the team, so he's in play, someone I'll consider. On the Kings side, Richaun Holmes is basically the only single guy I really like. Buddy Hield, of course, he's also in consideration, but Richaun Holmes is the main guy I'm looking at. Reason why I like Richaun Holmes here is the last 2 games, Richaun Holmes has been playing with foul trouble. He's just been in foul trouble. Foul trouble. And even in foul trouble, he's been managing to put up decent performances at the price. In this matchup against the Suns, it's a revenge game. He used to play for the Suns. I really think he's in a good spot here. The last time he played the Suns, he came off the bench. He didn't have a good game. He only took 2 shots. Terrible performance from him. But now that he's gotten more run with the first team due to the injuries, he should be more acclimated to this offense, and he should be in line to have a good offensive game. So I do not mind Richaun Holmes. He's one of my favorite plays on the slate, 5,800. Give me Richaun Holmes. I love Richaun Holmes tonight. The other guy, Buddy Hield, the main guy on the Kings right now, Buddy Hield. He's obviously one of my favorite plays, 7,500. He's coming off of a fantastic game against the Celtics in which he just absolutely smashed them. Buddy Hield is also one of the youngest guys who's shooting the most 3-point shots in his career, I guess. He's taking 12, 14, 11 3-point attempts per game. So a lot of 3-point shots. If his shot's falling, he's going to have a lot of opportunity to hit value. With Fox out, with Bagley out, his usage has skyrocketed. The minutes are safe. They're fantastic. The price is reasonable, too, for the amount of usage in the matchup he's in. So I don't mind Buddy Hield whatsoever. He's another guy I'll be looking at a lot of. And, of course, there's Harrison Barnes. There's Bojan Bogdan. Both of these guys are in consideration. However, Bogdan's price, man, it's a little scary. He can, of course, hit value in this price. He's been getting a good amount of minutes. He's a definitely capable player of getting 50 DraftKings points, but it's a lot tougher for me to get to him at 7,100 than it was when he was 5,400 or 6K. 7,100, there's other guys that I could rather get to pay up a little bit more, pay down a little bit more with the safer floor, with similar upside in my mind, like Ricky Rubio for 200 less. Come on. 400 less for John Morant. You know, there's a lot of options here you could go to aside from Bogdan. Yeah, he's going to be a good play. Yeah, he's a primary ball handler with no Fox. His assist rate's fantastic. The usage is skyrocketing without those guys. So he has the ball in his hands a lot. He's taking double-digit shot attempts. It's a good matchup against the Suns. But with all that said, the price, right? Honorable mention to Yogi Ferrell and Corey Joseph. Both of these guys should see significantly less ownership than they have been in the past. However, Yogi Ferrell at 3,900 is the guy I'd rather go with, but with Corey Joseph's ownership finally being low and him coming off of 2 of his worst games of the season, honestly, this could be a bounce back spot for Corey Joseph. He's not that bad of a player. He was getting this in limited minutes, 24 and stuff, so 18, that was 38 minutes. But he can perform in certain matchups, and this is a good matchup against the Suns for him. He could definitely go out there and have a good game today, so I don't mind getting to some Corey Joseph at 4,300. And then the last game of the night, it was a very, very close game for OKC against the Clippers, but tonight they go up against the Lakers in the same building. So the LA nightlife will not really hinder this team all that much. It is more of a mature team. It has some real veteran guys, Chris Paul, Gallinari, even Steven Adams, who have their heads on straight, won't get distracted, would be really upset about the loss last night. Even Shai Gilgeous and Schroeder are competitive guys. So these guys are going to have their head down. Yesterday. It was a very close game. It was winnable. There was no Kawhi. Paul George was playing bad. And they were in prime spot to take it, but Shai Gilgeous got into foul trouble, had an off game. So I'm just going to start. SGA in this matchup should be the guy that you're looking at the most. I think Chris Paul is going to be limited on a back-to-back, which should open up more minutes and usage for Shai Gilgeous and Dennis Schroeder. Chris Paul being on a back-to-back here should, in theory, restrict his minutes and workload. He's 34 years old. They don't need him to be playing back-to-backs, especially in a tough defensive matchup here against the Lakers. Last year, of course, Chris Paul and Rondo got into that fist fight. I don't know if these guys want to really put them on the court in those situations again. Not that I think that's going to happen again. I think everything should be fine. I think they've put it behind them, at least professionally. But Chris Paul on a back-to-back, definitely it's the first time they're on a back. Boots up here. SGA or Dennis Schroeder should be the guys you're looking at here. 6,100 for SGA is a fantastic price. Even after his foul trouble yesterday, a lot of people will just see that and fail to realize he was in foul trouble. His ownership will be a little bit lower. It is a 4-game slate, so you really have to have a short-term memory for these. He's coming off of a stinker and he's due. So I really like SGA. I'm gonna put him in darker green. That's yellow. I'm going to put him in darker green. And then Dennis Schroeder and both Steven Adams. Steven Adams stay like that. Dennis Schroeder, again, 4,800. It's a $1,300 price difference from SGA. Schroeder's also in a good spot here. The guards have been able to perform well against the Lakers, even though the Lakers are a very slow-paced team and the best defensive team in the league. But the guards have been able to do somewhat well against the Lakers. So I don't mind SGA and Dennis Schroeder. Both of these guys are fast-paced, high-intensity guys with a motor. They should cause some trouble for the Lakers. And then Steven Adams, his size is definitely going to be needed. But Anthony Davis has been having some really bad games, and I think Anthony Davis is going to be super motivated to come out here and just show the world who he really is. But Steven Adams at 4,900, I mean, Steven Adams, very consistent. I don't know why he's so cheap. He's consistently getting around 6x, so yeah, some of the minutes were low and those games are bad, but even then, in limited minutes, he's pretty much getting a fantasy point per minute. If he's going to be getting his regular allotment of minutes, we can expect something similar, and they're definitely going to need his size out there to match with the Lakers, Howard, McGee, AD, LeBron. So he's going to see a good run here. He's coming off of a back-to-back as well, so maybe he gets a little bit limited due to his recent injury history, but I think he should be clear to play against the Lakers. And then honorable mention to Nerlens Noel. They're going to need his size and agility as well. The Lakers are a pretty big team, and they're going to have to match them. So Nerlens Noel could also see a decent amount of run here. And maybe there's a revenge game from Mike Muscala, but I'm just kidding. Maybe there is, though. On the Lakers side, I really don't like much of the Lakers side. LeBron James obviously in consideration because he's LeBron James and he's been playing out of his mind. He's been ball hogging a lot, really outshining Anthony Davis, and this is why there's almost a $1,200 price, $1,300 price difference here. However, with all that said, AD is the guy I'd definitely be going to. It is definitely a bit riskier, but just like Russell Westbrook yesterday, this guy is way better than what he's been producing. I love the price on him, and on a 4-game slate, you can't really overlook Anthony Davis. Sure, there isn't any true, real 33K value like the other nights. It's going to be tough to fit a lot of the guys you like in today, but honestly, Anthony Davis should be one of the guys that I'm going to be having a lot of. Sure, it can burn me, don't get me wrong, but he's been playing really bad. He's not that bad, man. He should be getting way more rebounds than he is. He should be taking a couple more 3-point per games. More shots should be going in. He's 5 for 14, 5 for 12. Terrible, terrible, terrible. And, you know, not even in foul trouble. So the minutes are somewhat okay. 35 minutes of AD, I'll take that. And I don't mind AD at 9,800 on a 4-game slate. I'll do that any single day of the week. But of course, LeBron James at 11K, definitely in consideration. He's been playing out of his mind, triple-double almost every single time he's on the court. I don't know who OKC really employs to slow him down. They might, run some schemes, double team and all that, but it'll be tough. It's LeBron James, man. He's been playing really well. He's in form. And it's tough for me to just fade him. I like him. I'm going to be playing him, but just not a lot. There's other guys I'd rather get to, and I just like AD more today. But you won't be wrong if you play more LeBron than AD or LeBron 100% or anything like that, because he's just in a good spot on a 4-game slate. He's been playing really well. So there's that. But AD is the guy definitely I'm looking at. And with Avery Bradley out, there's a boost to Danny Green, KCP, Kyle Kuzma. But let's just start with Danny Green. Danny Green is flaky, okay? He can go out there and have that 50 DraftKings points game or whatever he had the other day. 31 DraftKings points. Oh my God, people were going crazy about Danny Green. He ended up with 31 DraftKings points. Wow. He got that 50 DraftKings points to start the season. So he has a tremendous ceiling. It's just on a night in, night out basis. You're not going to get anywhere close to these numbers, man. This is what you're going to get. 17, 9, 20, 14, 10, 21. That's what you're getting. This 31 is an outlier, even for Danny Green. He has an ability. If his shot's falling, he's going to get you some peripherals and stuff. Then he's good, but it's rare. I don't like Danny Green. I don't like KCP. He's very risky, flaky, whatever word you want to use. The price is okay, but it's flaky. There's other guys I'd rather play with more upside. Kyle Kuzma is in a decent spot here, so he's another guy I'll be considering. But with all the other guys that the Lakers have, his minutes still aren't up where they should be for him to be super productive. He has tremendous upside. If there's any injury or anything to Anthony Davis or any other guy, he's directly going to be the guy to get the bump. But with all that said, the price is what it is. It's a fair price. It's just the usage and minutes are not what they are supposed to be in my world. And it doesn't make me happy. Rondo's the other guy I'm going to talk about. I'm on the fence with Rondo, but Rondo's no longer going to be on a minutes cap. He should see around 25 minutes. He's a very productive player in limited minutes. He could definitely smash his value. He could get you 30, 40 DraftKings points. He's double-digit assist upside. He's rebound. He gets steals. So he can fill up the stat sheets definitely someone that could hit value at this price point. Should be seeing a good amount of minutes too. And when he's on the court, the usage is there. Aside from that, don't really have much to say about these other guys. I will be filling up notes for Howard, Caruso, JaVale, and some of the other guys I don't have notes for right now. And I also will be updating my list closer to lock, so I will have more notes here. Again, if you guys want access to my spreadsheet, I just need an email address that I can send the link to. So just DM me on Twitter or post down below in the comments with an email address, and I'll send you access to the spreadsheet. Again, thank you very much, guys, for tuning in. And if you haven't yet, please hit that like and subscribe button. And please share, retweet, spread the word. The faster I grow, the more content I can give you guys, the better content I can give you guys. I want to make strategy videos, how to create lineups for different tournaments, different playstyles, showdown construction, multi-entry GPP construction, single entry constructions. I want to make videos for that, but I really don't have the time right now. But I know it's going to be very beneficial for people. So the more support, the faster I grow, the more I can put stuff like that out. I want to be doing live sessions before lock. I want to have question and answer sessions with people where they can FaceTime me or something, and we could just chop it up together, have a group going where everybody's talking and bouncing ideas off. I want to do all that stuff. So if you guys like that idea, I'm hoping to make it all free. So if you guys like that idea, then please hit that like, comment, subscribe, spread the word, let people know what's going on here. And with that, I wish you guys all the best of luck today, especially those who have liked, comment, and supported me. So best of luck to you guys, and all the best tonight. Take care. Bye-bye.